I want to carry forward this theme because it relates to Wisconsin. It has some things in common about what happened there. So the theory is that Obama is in trouble in the Democrat Party, and he is. Now, I don't know that it means he's not just in trouble. There's such a huge difference in the perception of Obama in the party, 2008 to today. And there is nobody in that party who thought 3 years ago they'd be anywhere near where they are today. Remember, these are people who live in an alternate universe, an alternative reality. They lie to themselves. They tell themselves the vast majority of the country is with them. And even when it turns out that the vast majority of the country is not, that just irritates and angers them and wants to make them punish people who don't see it their way rather than try to persuade them to join them. It is an unholy alliance. And Clinton, breaking away the way he has, and publicly and frequently, is indicative of the problems that exist in the Democrat Party. They always talk about the lack of unity on the Republican side, but you never hear about it on the Democrat side. Even now, they're trying to paper it all over by saying, oh, Clinton, he's just Bill, and he's just actually trying to help Obama is what he's doing, He's really secretly trying to help. He's trying to sharpen Obama up. He's on Obama. He's leading the way. For example, they're saying, we're going to have to extend the Bush tax cuts. And the Democrats know that Obama is really opposed to that because he doesn't want to help the rich anymore. But there's no way that they can't extend the Bush taxes, no matter who wins in November. We've got to do this for the economy. Clinton is showing Obama the way. That's how they are rationalizing this. But that is not what's going on. Now, you remember this book that's out called The Amateur by Ed Klein. Remember the chapter in that book about Oprah, about how Oprah has been dissed. Oprah's been thrown overboard. The regime wants nothing more to do with her. But who is she? Oprah threw away her TV career for Obama. If you want to know why Oprah's not on television anymore, it's because she supported Obama. If you want to know why Oprah is flailing away on a cable network and nobody watches, it's because of Obama. Well, yeah, it is. Oprah decided that she would let her racial association take precedence over her television and broadcasting knowledge. When she decided, she had Obama on, made him a millionaire, put him on TV to sell his first book. It made him an overnight millionaire. It helped establish him as a rising figure in the Democrat Party. It helped get his biography out there. Okay, that's all well and good. There ought to be some gratitude from Obama for that. Then Oprah basically throws away her career by endorsing Obama. That's when her likability number, the Q number, a favorable number, that started plummeting along with her ratings. Because it was at that point that Oprah's audience began to ask themselves, maybe suspect, maybe race matters to her more than all this other stuff that she talks about. Prior to that, race was not a big deal with Oprah. She was about self-improvement, all that yin-yang that her program was about. But people started now questioning all of that and how sincere it was. So she's out on the campaign trail, and she sacrificed, and this is not a sympathy play for Oprah. I'm just telling you what happened. Because in the process of doing all of this for Obama, where's Oprah now? They don't even let her in the White House because Michelle hates her, according to this book. And Oprah is quoted in this book as saying that Michelle doesn't like fat people waddling around the White House. And Michelle felt threatened by Oprah because Obama liked Oprah. The bottom line is Obama and Michelle ought to have eternal gratitude for Oprah Winfrey, and they don't. And Oprah gave up a lot for him. And by the same token, Obama ought to have a little gratitude for people that came before him. He doesn't. He's a lone wolf. He's a lone player. But it doesn't end there. Obama doesn't give a damn about anybody. He didn't care about Tom Barrett, did he? He wasn't willing to do one thing. He barely lifted a little finger. That's exactly what I mean. He tweeted less than 140 characters the day before the election. Barely lifted a little finger. He didn't even have the public sector unions' backs in Wisconsin. Who is it that has gone totally out of their way to do everything for Obama? And why? Because they love him personally? It's because of the quid pro quo. It's because Obama's supposed to take care of them. Card check. And whatever else they want. Protect the public school jobs, no matter what the quality of the schools is. Where was Obama? The unions are spending out the wazoo in Wisconsin. Even yesterday in Madison, did you hear this? The vote turnout was like 120%. Now, at first, people thought that there's fraud and cheating going on. It probably was. But what was also going on was first-time registered voters. You could, I think in Madison yesterday, Wisconsin, I'm not sure about this, but I think you could register the same day that you voted. And the unions were getting those people out. It was the unions. It was the unions who were thought to have everything on the line. Their pensions, their health care, their reputations. The unions going down the tubes yesterday, that's the lesson. Every Republican governor ought to now have a spine of steel. And Walker, even Time Magazine made this point. Walker did it by what? Not compromising. He didn't compromise one time with anybody on the left. He stood fast. Everything he believed. Yeah, I got 38% of union households. He didn't compromise. The Republican establishment technique, the Republican establishment handbook, reach across the aisle, compromise, get the independents. Scott Walker said to that, and he wins by 7 points. Now, they're claiming Walker outspent the unions. It's just the other way around. They had hundreds of thousands of union people in that state. They were doing fundraising and intimidation. You saw the trashing of the Capitol after the unions got through. They were doing everything they could to intimidate Republican voters into staying home. They wanted them afraid to show up and vote. Walker did not compromise at one thing. Every Republican governor in this country now ought to have a spine of steel. The Republican establishment should have learned something major. It isn't compromise with people who don't want to compromise in the first place that secures the votes of independents. Not today. I don't think ever. But it's not how it happens. So the unions were all in. Texas Hold'em, all in. Obama didn't lift a finger to help them. 6 fundraisers Friday within walking distance of the Wisconsin border on all of them. He didn't show up. He didn't set foot. Why? Well, some political scientists may say it makes sense. He knew they were going to lose, and he didn't want to be tied to the loss. He didn't want the loss tied to him. Sorry, Barack, it is. Despite what they say at MSNBC, despite what they say at CNN, ABC, CBS, New York Times, Barack Obama and the Democrat Party lost this election. No other way to look at it. I guarantee you, if the result had been the other way, if Barrett had won, would they not be saying Obama was the reason? Would they not be saying we've got to listen to the people of Wisconsin? We've got to follow what the people of Wisconsin... If Barrett had won, we would be hearing how indicative that race was of what's going to happen in November. It was a precursor, they would tell us. And they would tell us this is a microcosm of this whole country. But now that Walker won and the Democrat lost, now it means nothing. But in their bottom line hearts and souls, the Democrat Party in Wisconsin and elsewhere knows that Barack Obama abandoned them. Mr. Lovable, Mr. Popularity, The guy who is maybe having trouble in his policies, maybe having trouble in his approval numbers, but his personal likability, sky high. And this guy doesn't go use that. He doesn't go to that state to help out his number one donors, the SEIU and the teachers' unions. Why should anybody think that Obama will fight for them when he doesn't even fight for his number one supporters? He didn't have Tom Barrett's back. He didn't have the public sector unions back. Bill Clinton does not have Obama's back. Ed Rendell does not have Obama's back. Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz is on her own. She's a free agent. We're talking about a Democrat Party in a massive state of disarray. Obama told a Democrat National Committee that he's not going to be giving any money to Democrat candidates. Don't forget that story. That's been out there twice now. Remember, Snerdley? Lights going on? Obama says you're on your own. I don't have enough money to give you guys. He's not going to raise $1 billion. So Obama has publicly told the DNC and Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz, not getting any money from me. They're on their own. No safety net. He's the guy that wants to set up death panels. The economy is in a death spiral. The husband of Obama's own Secretary of State, a former two-term Democrat president who is running around saying, count them, 4 balanced budgets. I'm the guy that gave you 4 balanced budgets. Mr. President, what do you mean? Well, I mean, for crying out loud, I gave you 4 balanced budgets, and this rank amateur up there who has no inclination of how to show anybody any respect, this guy blowing this nation apart. Let me tell you what, I had a meeting with some powerful conservatives, and I told them privately, you got 6 months. I can't help you. I'll do what I can. You got 6 months to save this country. You got 6 months to save Hillary's future and Chelsea's. That story's out there. I'm the guy 4 balanced budgets. Yeah, the Republicans helped you in that. Yeah. But I took care of that in 1995. The hell with Republicans. I did it. I'm the guy who gets credit for it, and everybody knows it. Okay? So the economy's in a death spiral. Bill Clinton has declared our economy is in recession. He doesn't have Obama's back. Republican governors like Walker, Perry, Portman, Daniels, Jindal, McDonnell, they're winning big battles against entrenched unions and other liberal special interest groups. Their states are balancing budgets, folks. States run by Republican governors are bringing back jobs. They're building trust based on results and a healthy dose of conservatism. And it's all crashing down on the wizards of smart, the elitists and the academics in their ivory towers. Yogi Berra summed this up. Yogi Berra is the guy that put all of what's happening in perspective. Of all people, if you want to know exactly what's going on with the Democrat Party, Yogi Berra had it. He said, in theory, there is no difference between theory and practice, but in practice, there is.